Hello and good evening. It's me Imran again for the next video, which is project scope management. What we have to do here, just a quick review of the project scope. If we have a process chart in front of us, let's just start explaining. The first process, as per our rule, will always be the management plan of that knowledge area. So knowledge areas project scope management, the first part will be the plan scope management. If you look at the input, it will receive the inputs from the previous processes, which is project charter, and you are working with project management plan, and all the planning activities contains OPAs and AF. For sure, when I'm planning my scope, I need to have expert judgment. I need to perform data analysis, cost benefit analysis, and so forth. And for that, I will do meetings with the relevant stakeholders. And we will produce a document called Scope Management Plan, which contains how to prepare the project scope, the tailoring considerations, development approaches, life cycle, and so on. Requirements Management Plan, how the requirements will be collected, documented, and managed throughout the project. Once I have decided how will I collect the requirement, then I'll move to collect requirements. And the previous process output will be input to this process. We had charter, plan, documents, business documents for the agreements with which we are working with, so we can make sure who or which vendor we are working with, and our tools and techniques, sorry, our OPAs and AEFs will always be there for the planning things. The tools and techniques, for sure, if I don't have it, I will use expert judgment. I will gather the data by questionnaire, surveys, interviews, prototype. I'll perform data analysis to check cost benefit analysis. We'll do the decision making, which is what we have four type of group decision making: unanimous, majority, plurality, or autocratic or dictatorship. The data representation, we can use affinity diagrams, we can use context diagram, mind mapping in order to represent the data, and while doing so, I will use my interpersonal and team skills. Once I will make the collect requirement process, the output will be requirements documentation, which will be, there are so many documents, so I will compile all those documents in a one single document called requirements traceability matrix, which contains all the information from origin to destination of the items that this contains, for which deliverable, for which work package, who will receive it, who will validate it, how it will be approved, how it will be tested, and so on. Once I have collected the requirements, so I'm in the position to define a scope. On those basis, I will get the project scope statement, which is very detailed. And if requires, like there are some changes which needs to be updated while I was collecting the requirements, so we will update the project documents. No, at the time of business case, you said this, but now we have a different thing. So we can update our project documents if required. Once the scope is defined, we will decompose it, and the tool and technique which is unique now. People keep asking, man, what are the unique things? So for look, create WBS, we have unique as what decomposition for create WBS. Here, if you come, we have for any collect requirement thing, we will always have decision making, data analysis, or data representations. These are the unique things for each process. We are defining a scope, which means yes, we are doing something data analysis and decision making. When we are going to do something, we need to have our things. Product analysis only applicable for the defined scope, because I need to have the product scope and product life cycle. What is product scope? The features and functions that characterize a product. Project scope, how will you deliver that product scope? So once you will decompose it, you will get scope baseline, which contains WBS and WBS dictionary. WBS contains what? Project, and then control accounts, then work packages, and it also has something called planning component. If your work package does not have further details or enough details, you will leave it as of now, and when the time comes, you will start getting more details about it. Once your work breakdown structure is created and dictionary is allocated, that which resources you need to complete those work packages, then you will go and validate the scope. And for validation, for sure, you need what? Decision making. Look, they are trying to build consensus for everything they are trying to do. Define a scope, they need decision making. Collect requirements, they have to decision making. Validate scope, they are doing the decision making. Why? Because they can get and build consensus. They can manage and engage a stakeholder in a better way, so there will be less conflicts and more productivity. So output will be accepted deliverables, and for sure we need to have work performance information, which will be given to the monitor and control project work. While validating the scope, if they don't accept it, so we will produce a change request and we will update the project documents accordingly. Control scope, for sure we will have work performance data coming from direct and managed project work, and then our project management plans and project documents are with us to perform the work and compile the work. So we will check our data analysis, we will check what variance analysis, if we have variances, if we have differences in the scope, we'll check it. On those basis, we will have work performance information, and if required, we'll produce the change request and update the project management documents which is required. So this is the smallest review in detail about project scope management. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video for project schedule management.